So, the last thing we wanted to talk about on the show, Chris, is
Mhm.
I've heard some news that's very exciting. Wanted you to tell a little about it, and that is that you have been able to finally go to doing this as your job. This is your career
Yeah.
now.
Us. That's your job now.
Talking to
Literally,
us.
this is what I do. Nathan and Alex have trapped me in a room.
Yep.
They've put the camera on me full time, and I just have to do this now, all day, every day.
Now you have to
Perfect
solve a series
content
of
for
quests.
days.
You have to
Now
serve.
you need to loot the room.
You have to loot the room. There is a series of riddles that you must pass before we will let you out. It's
Let's
just
play a game.
it's just an escape room, but the
There is no
escape room
escape.
into the escape room. It's a donut hole escape room into another donut hole escape room.
It's like that bit in Escape Room 2 where they climb out of the road and they think they're free, and then they're in the middle of the road, and no, it's another escape room. I
Yeah,
don't know where they get the budget for these escape rooms in the escape room movies, but
I
I
don't
didn't know
know,
they made escape room movies.
but they
It's-
really,
genuinely, I watched the first one.
yeah.
I completely ignored the first one because it looked shit.
Mm.
And then I went to see Monster Hunter at the cinema.
Oh,
Don't ask me why, it was trash. But there was a trailer for Escape Room 2, and I was like, that actually looks super stupid in a really fun way. So I watched the first Escape Room, and it's super stupid in a really fun way.
yeah.
Like Sharknado.
Yeah, I mean, it's better than Sharknado. Sort of.
That's
It's
fair.
one of those shitty horror movies that knows it's a shitty, stupid concept horror movie and just leans into it.
Yeah. Perfect.
It's worth watching. It's really fun. I enjoyed it a lot.
We need to try that kind of methodology for the podcast. Just lean into it.
Just lean into. Is it stupid? Okay, let's just go with it.
Yeah.
If we're stupid today, we'll do an episode that's just the stupid episode, and we have 3 just stupid topics to talk about on this show.
Perfect.
Perfect. But at any rate, so you were able to get out of your escape room of a job that and move into doing game design and the loot the room stuff for full time. So
Yeah.
when did that happen, and how happy were you that you were able to do it?
That happened in, I want to say, October or November last year. And it was the best day of my life.
Yeah. I
left that office so quickly and without saying goodbye to anybody. I just fucking walked out.
Oh, you know that's bad.
Yeah,
It was great.
I vaguely remember a thread of tweets.
Yeah. It was
Yeah.
awful, but it was a great feeling. And like, it's one of those things where like I've had a few friends who've gone full time, and they're all very concerned about money because, of course, it's
Right.
scary to not have a salary. But I was super lucky that I was able to save up like a year's worth of expenses before I quit.
Okay.
So obviously I still am like, I need to make money,
Sure.
but I could not make money for the entirety of the next year and still have a year of doing it full time, and then I would have to find a new job. But
Right.
I get to do it for at least a year, and that's the dream, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, when I left my job a while back, well the HR job. When I left the HR job, because I had an opportunity that was in tabletop, I was like, oh good, an excuse. It was just like, it's an excuse to leave. Whatever
Yeah.
I can take is an excuse. And so I had also built up funds, so I was like, well, while I'm here, throw everything at the wall, and we'll try so many different things. I'm just gonna make a whole bunch of different things and
That's
play
it.
around with it.
You've got to enjoy it while you've got the opportunity to, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Before your dreams die again.
Yeah, exactly. Before you get crushed by having to go back to the corporate hellhole.
Corporate hell.
But so far, it's going well enough that I don't think I will have to. So far.
That's the hope. That it
That's
keeps going
the
well,
hope.
so you don't have to. And we
Yeah.
can be like, oh, we're so envious.
Yes.
I'm really glad I got to do it. It's I knew I was going to be able to do it from about March or April last year, but I just wanted to like make sure I did it properly
Yeah.
and like I intended to stay in my job until January just to get those last few months of salary. But it got so bad that I was like, no, fuck this, I can't do it. I can't stay here anymore. I'm gonna kill myself. I'm not actually gonna kill myself, but just to be clear, that's hyperbole. But taking the time to like make sure I had a solid foundation, like buying the house and like cutting down on my expenses and saving up some money and stuff was like, it's great. I love it.
Oh, good. Good. And I imagine that the thing I found too is that when you don't have the whole thing where you're trying to go to the place of work and do the work, you can actually have the time to produce more output.
It's really weird. Like, there was an initial adjustment period where I was still trying to force myself to work like 8-hour days, because that's what you get taught to do your whole life.
Yeah, that's what's expected. 40-hour work week, 8 hours a day, 5 days a week.
Exactly. And I realized that I actually wasn't really using that time at all. So now I have like I work like 3 hours a day of actual creative work. And I'm more productive than I was when I was doing it around my full-time job. It's great. You see like famous writers post their writing schedules and everyone's like, oh, what a life of leisure. But actually it's like, you can only concentrate and be productive for about 3 hours a day anyway. So like, of course people only work for 3 hours a day when they have the option to set their own hours.
Shame that I'm out at my job the 8 hours I need to be there. 9 hours I'm there. Where I'm most productive. It's like I get home from work and I'm just like, time to relax with video games.
I was getting home because I was working in healthcare, as I think you probably both know because I tweet about it a lot. And I was just fried. I'd get home and just be like, I couldn't do anything. I would just sit on the sofa like this. It was horrible. But now, like, I've got my little routine down now. Like, I get up in the morning, I go to the gym, I get to spend as long as I want in the gym instead of rushing it. I come home, I feed the cat, have some breakfast, and then I sort of like amble into my office and do a bit of writing. Then I have my lunch, and then I amble into my office and do a bit of writing, and then it's like 2 in the afternoon, and I'm like, cool, I'm done for the day. I'm gonna go read a book.
And that's just research.
That's research, Or some days you will like be super into a project, and I'll be sitting here, and it'll be like 5:30, and my partner will have finished work for the day, and she'll be like, we should probably eat something now. And I'm like, ADHD hyperfocus, but I get to choose when I do that now. Instead of like having that be the only way I can create things, I get to decide that for myself now. So that's fun.
Oh, go ahead, Nathan.
I was just gonna say, like, creative pursuits more than like your standard working schedule kind of have to lend themselves to that, because you do take a lot of like mental there's a lot of mental part to that where you have to a lot of latency.
Like work. Ideas have to gestate, and like the actual typing part isn't the writing part. The sitting staring at a wall for 4 hours looking like you're doing nothing is the writing part. Then you type for a couple of hours and then it's done, or at least that's my process. So allowing myself time to sit and do nothing is really important.
And for people that are like creatively minded or in like the arts, there is no like one size fits all for the process, so it's mostly just getting the amount of time together so that you can figure out whatever your process is, that you can do it.
That's the hard part. Most people's processes for things are like driven by necessity. I think people write in the half an hour that they're on a bus going to work because it's the only time of the day they get to themselves. Like, I've lived that life for most of my adult life. So like the first 2 months of working for myself were very much like, how do I do this? Because I like I remember I was reading something about Michael Crichton's writing process when he was writing books. And I thought to myself, well, I'm glad that this works for you, but it would never work for me. The way he would do things is he'd spend like
4 months or something doing research and stuff on like what he wanted to write. And so he knew, I have this idea for a book, so I'm going to spend months and months and just kind of take it easy, but I'm going to do that. And then there'd be like about a month or so where he would lock himself into a room. He'd eat the same thing every single day. They'd just give it to it, so he didn't have to think about what he was eating, what he was doing in any other regard. He would sit down at a computer or his typewriter, and he would just write the whole novel out one go in a month. And that's how that was his process. It was just a lot of research. Yeah.
I mean, kudos to him for being able to take 4 months doing nothing but like research and then writing in a month. Like, okay, output everything all at once. Go ahead, and you're done.
Then he like has it in his head. Yeah, and then it's just like, okay, 4 to 6 weeks or something, and just like knock it all out in one go, send it off to publishing, call it good. Yeah, I mean, maybe it works. I don't know, but I did sit there and I don't think so. I don't think so.
My background is in fiction writing. Like, I always wanted to be a novelist.
Sure.
And I wrote a few novels and they're shit, and that's why nobody's ever seen them. I would really like to get back to writing fiction, and I keep saying next week's the week that I'm going to start writing fiction, and then I don't. I'm still finding reasons to not write fiction. Maybe I just need to lock myself, go away somewhere for a month, be like, bye.
Yeah, sequester yourself in a room.
Yeah, don't do games for a month. Go and stay in an Airbnb with a standing order for Domino's.
Laser focus in, don't have to think about anything else, just what you're working on right there.
Get on first name terms with the guy who delivers pizza.
Until you're done. And then after you're done, it's like, okay, we're good. I'm all set.
Back to games.
Yeah. And it worked for him. I mean, we got Jurassic Park out of it, but the thing about
I really enjoyed, what was his other... My brain's just blanked. There's a few Michael Crichton books that I've really enjoyed, despite them not being very good, and I can't remember what they're called now.
Oh, yeah.
The Andromeda Strain and
that was an
Timeline.
Yeah, that was one of his later ones, actually. Timeline.
Yeah. The movie of Timeline was terrible, but the book was fun.
Yeah. I think I've seen more movies based on Crichton than anything else. I saw, like, Congo, and then, like,
Congo Crichton?
Congo was Crichton. Yeah.
Wow. I didn't know that.
There's a lot. He wrote a lot of books.
The man was prolific.
Yes. And he basically wrote books that were basically blockbusters waiting to happen, which I think is the reason.
Sphere was Crichton as well, wasn't it?
Sphere, yeah. Sphere was Crichton.
Oh my god.
Yeah. There was a lot.
Yeah.
There was a lot. His
just hit after hit after hit.
Yeah. Once he started, he just never stopped. Yeah. And of course, dinosaurs. Dinosaurs.
Yeah.
So many dinosaurs.
One of my favorite games when I worked in the office, one of the things that kept me sane was I wasn't allowed to wear headphones. So I had little speakers on my desk to listen to music, and I had to have them very quiet. But what I would do is I would either put on the Jurassic Park theme once, or I would just sing it under my breath. And then I'd just wait and see how long it took for everyone in the office to sing it. Because it's super catchy.
Oh, yeah. Well, John Williams, what are you going to do?
Yeah.
It's inevitable.
It's great.
Yeah. It sure is.
I'd put that on the speakers at work if I could get away with it.
It's very fun to just sing it very lightly and see who picks up on it.
Yeah. So that's basically the thing you're going to miss the most about working in an office, is that you can only get your own head caught in an earworm.
I can't wage psychological warfare on a group of people who I strongly dislike anymore.
That is the thing I miss.
It just has to happen on Twitter now.
Yeah,
that's true. Yeah.
This is fair.
You're right. I've got direct access to 6,500 people on Twitter.
Exactly.
So. There you go. You just
psychological warfare. Just start. Are there words to the Jurassic Park theme?
No.
Yeah.
You could make them.
Nah.
Yeah.
You just post that and see who notices it. It's like when people are like, you know that song that goes do. Yeah. It's like you do that.
Yeah.
That works better with EDM, I think, though.
Yeah. Maybe this is why Twitter doesn't allow you to make audio posts.
This might be,
because I would just post myself going every day.
Twitter may not allow you to do audio posts, but you can embed videos on the Twitter. And you can just make short videos that are just audio.
I'll make short videos of my cat, because everyone loves cats, and it'll be like my form of rickrolling people.
Yeah. And what you do is you have the cat, and maybe it has like a little dinosaur hat on. And you start doing, you start humming the lyric, and it's like 30 seconds.
I get him a
of
little
just
like
that.
Stegosaurus back thing.
Yeah. Yeah. It'd be great.
It's gonna be.
Keep in mind, this
Breaks
is what
the
you're
internet.
doing because you can work from home.
Because I can work from home. I get to do this now.
Yeah. Just go
This
on.
is your life now.
Just go on Twitter and just start the lyrics of a song everybody knows.
Yeah.
But just like the first part of the lyrics and just nothing else. Just
nothing else.
The first part. You have to do some obscure middle lyric somewhere.
Oh yeah. Just like, oh man, I remember the middle of this song. Anybody know what it is? Everybody's gonna want to tell you.
Quotes out of context.
Quotes out of context. Yeah.
I mean, I did used to just randomly post zero context lyrics from the middle of like noughties emo songs, but I think I'm the only person who remembered most of those songs.
Right.
Oh no.
Fair enough.
No, they just choose to forget.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
Like, it's just My Chemical Romance. Who cares?
Yeah.
I'll just post G sharp. A single G sharp note.
Oh yeah. That.
I don't know what that's a reference to right now. I'm sorry.
The opening, it's the one piano note at the beginning of Black Parade.
Oh yeah.
That was a fun album.
Yeah.
No, it wasn't.
It's interesting. Just that one song was good.
I'm a big You Brought Me Bullets and 3 Cheers fan, and I didn't like Black Parade.
Yeah.
I wasn't a really big My Chem fan myself, but I did like a couple of their songs.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone loves I'm Not Okay.
That's because we're not okay.
Because we're not okay.
We're all somewhat 90s and 2000s kids here, so...
Yeah. Well, we're all little emos. I call it bullied at school music, personally.
Yeah. Well, it's because somebody played Burnout 3. I think it's like everybody played Burnout 3, so whatever songs were on that, like all of a sudden it's like, yep,
we all played Burnout 3 and saw Spider-Man 2.
And saw Spider-Man's 2.
Tony Hawk.
And Tony Hawk.
Yeah.
And therefore...
That's why we all like that one Pennywise song.
Yes.
And that one Jimmy Eat World song.
Yeah, the one Jimmy Eat World song. Yeah. Good stuff. So basically, this is how you can use your time now to remember the things.
This is literally what I do with my time, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And the great thing is that you never know. This could be an RPG in the making. You can...
Yeah, we mentioned From Dusk Till Dawn earlier, and I have been thinking about writing like a From Dusk Till Dawn style game.
Oh.
About a band on tour who play a show in a venue that's populated by vampires. It'd be like Green Room meets From Dusk Till Dawn, but I would absolutely write an album of like noughties emo bangers to go with it.
Yeah. There's a movie I keep seeing advertised that's coming out that's the Foo Fighters. I don't know if you've seen that. It's like 666. And it's...
I haven't seen that.
Yeah. Oh, you look it up. But anyway,
that sounds more like something Nine Inch Nails would do than the Foo Fighters.
Well, it's the Foo Fighters. And Dave Grohl and the band, they're like, yeah, we got to get away so that we can make this album. And they end up like going away to what is like basically a demonically possessed hotel, where they are now all in day. And I was kind of like, this sounds like the strangest thing. But okay, maybe I'll actually want to watch this because it sounds like a horror comedy, and it looks like they're having fun doing it. But I was like,
I'll have to watch that.
Yeah. I kind of like the idea though of having an RPG about a band on tour. That would kind of be interesting.
Yeah.
Then you can have each little vignette as the different places that they play.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. It's one of those things that's been an idea for a long time, but I've never sat down and done it, and now I have the time to sit down and do it. So
there you go.
Maybe once I need to get Dice Souls finished.
Yes.
Yeah, Dice Souls. Yeah,
and then you can do you can name it Battle of the Bands.
Name it Battle of the Bands.
Yeah.
Or Battle of the Band, and if you name one band, it's whatever.
Yeah. Right. You could do that.
You can do whatever you want. You're getting paid to do this.
I'm my own boss. Yeah.
Yeah. You could. Yeah. Six String Samurai. That was a movie.
Pink Samurai.
Yeah.
I was gonna say though, since you've been working for yourself now, I feel like you're probably under a lot less mental stress, and your
So much
physical
less.
health is probably improved.
Yep. Both of those things are true. Yeah.
Which is really awesome for you. I'm really happy for you.
I get to not leave the house during the ongoing pandemic, if that's something that I choose to do, rather than being forced to go into an office full of people. Yeah, it's great. I haven't heard my alarm on my phone for 4 months.
That's
nice.
Awesome.
Yes. I mean, my partner still sets an alarm because she works a 9 to 5, and like we both go into the gym in the morning at the same time. So like her alarm goes off.
Yeah.
But some days it doesn't wake me up, and some days I just wake up naturally, and it's really nice.
Oh, yeah. For anything that's mental work like you are now doing for yourself, it is definitely an improvement.
Yes. And somehow I've still managed to stick to like... I think the fact that I live with someone else helps, because if I lived on my own, I would have no schedule.
Yeah.
I would I'd be awake until I physically could not be awake anymore. I would fall asleep wherever I happen to be, and then I would wake up and continue to do the same thing. So the fact that I'm not living on my own, probably a good thing.
Probably some social interaction. Yeah.
Where my schedule is 10 p.m. to 7 a.m. It's like, I don't really have a set schedule during the daytime when I'm awake anymore. But it's like, would I like to maybe go back to daytime or evenings if I could and still get paid the same? Maybe.
Maybe.
My least favorite thing about doing night work, I used to finish work at like 4 or 5 in the morning when I was doing bartending. My least favorite thing would be people like ringing me at 10 in the morning and then acting like I was lazy for being in bed. I'd be like, how about I ring you at 3 in the morning when I'm awake?
What do you mean you're having a drink at 9 a.m.?
Yeah. Well, I just finished work, so
that's my
I hated that.
They're like, you're drinking at 10 a.m.? I'm like, I'm having a drink at 10 a.m. I work until 7 a.m. I am unwinding.
Yeah, this is my 8 p.m.
Yeah. But no, having people around is going to be very useful. I had a period of time where there was nobody in the house, and it was a winter, and I was all by myself, and I didn't have to go anywhere. I wasn't really working at the time, and my schedule got very messed up. Because basically I'm all by my lonesome for about 4 months or so. And I got to bed at like 8 o'clock in the morning one time, and just because I was like, I'm just doing stuff. And
I'm naturally quite nocturnal anyway. We're meant to go away this weekend, and now I'm not going because our cat isn't very well, so I'm going to stay with the cat. And I know that like when my partner leaves on Saturday morning, I'm not going to get night sleep on Saturday. So I'll just be like doing things. Yeah. I'll be a mess on Sunday. It'll be awful.
Perfect.
But great.
Great, but also like,
Yeah. It'll remind me of what life could have been like. How much better it is.
I remember after like 4 or 5 days where I was just kind of like holed up in the middle of winter in New Hampshire, just by my lonesome. I had to go outside and just kind of like stand outside for a little while. Just
remind yourself what it looks like.
Right. The outside world. I remember this. This was a thing.
I know for me, it was the transition to the place I'm living in now, where I had been living basically on my own for the last like 4 years where I was at, except for having my kid on the weekends. So, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, just me by myself. I just work overnights, the entire schedule gone. Any sense of consistency gone. And now it's taken a little bit. I've been here since April, but it's been adjusting to the living with another person again. It's quite nice. It's a lot.
It's good, isn't it?
Yeah, it's nice. I mean, I'm also adjusting, probably not still adjusted, to having a dog and 2 cats here too. So that's taken some getting used to, but it's nice. I like it.
I think the hardest thing to adjust to after having lived on your own is like figuring out how to get time to yourself still.
Yes.
Yeah.
I will agree with you, especially since our brand director works from home. So getting time to myself is a lot less often. So that's the biggest change for that for me, is going from being by myself pretty much all the time to almost never being alone. And again, I'm not gonna be like I hate it, because I don't. I enjoy not being alone, but it's just like, wow, I really don't have as much time by myself as I used to, which again, it's fine, but sometimes it's like I would like to find an hour or two to myself here and there.
Being able to decompress. Like, I'm really lucky that like we have our own offices in the house, so like if I need to not have any human contact, I can just like close the door. You know, and she does the same thing. Like, if her door's closed, I'm like, cool, I'll leave you alone because you're working for a company. I'll just do whatever the hell you want.
Right.
So having your own space is super important, and it's hard to get. So like, we moved here from a tiny apartment where literally like the only time either of us got to be on our own was when we went for a shit, you know.
Jeez.
Being your own boss is much more fun than working for somebody else.
And much more rewarding, I'm sure. And also, and you know, if you can focus in, I think that was always the problem, is that I had all these things that I wanted to do, but then your focus gets taken away by the job. And so you don't have the focus or the time to really put any of that into place.
I lack both.
Yeah, I know. The focus and the time go hand in hand.
The projects I have... Sorry, go ahead.
That's all right. I think, like, it's something that, for me at least, like, the pandemic really highlighted, because you just sort of get used to not having any time on your own or to do things. And then, like, when we went into lockdown in 2020, I was still going into work, but the workload itself had, like, dropped off a cliff, and there were only 5 people in the office. So I was sitting at a desk in an office, but I wasn't doing anything.
Yeah.
That was when I wrote, like, The Wretched and stuff like that. And then once things went back to normal, in scare quotes, because, of course, that's not actually what happened, but once the workplace decided they wanted to be at full capacity again, suddenly all that time went away, and I was a lot more aware of how mentally draining my job was in a way that I hadn't been aware of before. Which was when I started to really resent it.
I haven't had that fortune, or I'm gonna call it fortune, opportunity, where my job is essentially, because it's retail and at a grocery supermarket, so it's like you're still gonna be full staffed, and thankfully on overnights with the pandemic I don't interact with customers because we're closed. So it's just a small workforce, and I work in a dairy cooler, so I pretty much work maybe with one other person at a time, maybe a couple more occasionally. So it's like I'm very distant and by myself. I just have an earbud in, I'm listening to music or podcasts or YouTube all night. And I get a lot of crazy ideas at night that I would love to do, and then I get home and I'm just drained. It's
Absolutely,
I just want to unwind. I don't have the energy or the time to set aside where I'm feeling productive to get any of that work done. Plus the ADHD thing that you've mentioned a few times too. For me, it's not as much as the attention deficit problem that some people have, which I know is not the major problem with ADHD, but mine's the inaction, where I have the most impossible time at all trying to start a project on my own.
It's hard.
It's the hardest thing.
That's a few people have said to me, like, since going full time, how do I continue to put stuff out? Because obviously I'm quite open about how bad my ADHD is, and literally it's just having the opportunity to make a routine and have discipline. Like, if I don't stick to my routine, I don't write anything that day. You know, if I come home from the gym and don't go get food and come and sit in here at the same time every day, I'm not going to do any work that day.
Right.
The second something disrupts it, that's it, done.
Yeah.
We should do a whole episode at some point about creativity and ADHD in gaming.
Yeah.
It's a whole thing.
It is a whole thing.
We'll do a thematic roadblocks to creativity. we'll take 3 things that are definitely the roadblocks to that, because scheduling and focus are a big problem, especially when you're on your own. That if you don't have somebody over you, like, hey, what are we doing today? Or if I have to schedule for somebody else, I did find that was very useful. Like when I did actually have a schedule where I had to go and do things, the idea of actually having somebody say, yep, this is our layout, and kind of a little bit of structure to your day. But then when you're on your own, now you have to figure out the structure for yourself. How are we going to do that?
Yeah,
so that takes discipline.
Very tough. It is doable though, but it's tough.
Yeah. Fair enough. But you're not going back.
Oh, no.
Again.
No. Oh, no.
Fair enough.